Horses waste the nation's resources, and we should be spending more of our resources on producing food for people instead of for horses for pleasure. These are just some of the negative stigmas that are associated with the horse industry. And when youth say that they want to enter the industry and have a horse-related career, this is what people are telling them. So why is it important to change these stigmas, and why is it important to reach out to our youth? The answer is one and the same: to save our industry. Hello, my name is Sam Deatley, and I'm from Adams County and a member of Stirring Up Dust 4-H Club. And this morning, I'm going to present to you my PowerPoint about our future in the horse industry. As a youth interested in joining the industry, I have concerns about the security of the industry and the future of the industry. Okay. People tend to think that when you want a career related to the horse industry, that you have to be working with horses every day directly. And this is not true, because there are many jobs that are related to the horse industry. And if a person cannot work with a horse because they have physical limitations or because they choose not to, there are many different types of careers. They could become a scientist and work with nutrition, they could work with genetics, and they could create different feeds, or they could create different wormers. Also, there are equine journalists and photographers that work for hundreds of magazines that publish information about horses. They get to travel the country and learn about the industry and share with others about what's going on. Now, there are also still the traditional jobs that are related to the industry, such as jockeying, the racing. There are trainers, breakers, barn managers, and many of these fall into the categories of racing, showing, recreation, and training. Many people think that these jobs are low-income jobs and that they require no skill. And this is absolutely untrue, because to be a trainer or to be a barn manager, you have to know about the industry, you have to know how to market yourself, you have to know how to communicate with your clients and give them good information that will be good for short-term and long-term and best for both the horse and rider. The horse industry has a direct effect on the United States economy. There's a total direct income of $38.8 billion, and this is represented in gross domestic product. So this is from things where trainers are paying their taxes and they're getting paid, or they are making different show clothes or things like that. That is all factored into this number. And there are around 7.1 million people involved. 7.1 million people involved in the horse industry, and 2 million people own horses. That means that 1 out of every 63 people in the world or in the United States are involved in the horse industry in some way. The racing industry alone brings in $10.6 billion, and the showing industry brings in 11.8 billion, or 10.8 billion, sorry, and recreational use of a horse is 11.8. And there are also other categories where it falls into, like tack stores and training and things like that, which estimates around $5.5 billion in gross domestic product. The total that the horse industry pays in taxes is $1.9 billion. It can be broken down. We pay local taxes, pay state taxes, and it pays federal taxes. But we have more, in the horse industry, we have more of an effect on social attributes of the United States. While horses are great for bringing people together for recreational use, there is also a great impact that horses can have on youth. They teach youth responsibility, and they teach youth bonding skills. Horses can build confidence in an individual struggling with difficult times and help improve their communication skills. And when coming through a difficult time, horses can provide a companion and a sense of accomplishment. Also, riding horses and working with horses can be very helpful to an individual's health. Riding develops balance and coordination, and riding isn't always about the strength of an individual, but the flexibility and longevity of their muscles. Also, when riding a horse at a walk, it stimulates more internal organs, and it's the closest thing to actually walking a person can do. So this is why horses are so helpful with children and adults with physical and mental handicaps. So what is the future of the horse industry? There are pros and cons to everything. As the world advances in medical treatments, horses can become more resourceful in their ability to help people communicate and use their body. Another good thing about the industry for the youth that want a career related to horses is that the majority of the individuals that are already in the industry are aging and looking for a younger generation to step up and take their place. But with many positives comes some negatives. Right now in horse industry, fragmentation is taking place. There are many different types of breed associations. There's all kinds of trainers and show industries. And they lack a common goal. They are not willing to share resources or useful information that could help bring youth into the industry. And also, there's a lack of an inborn fondness of the industry. And what I mean by this is that the older generation that is now involved in horses has been raised with horses. People used horses up until World War II for transportation and sometimes work. And these people grew up around horses, learning the skills that it takes to ride horses, work with horses, and what all they have to offer to people. Right now, the youth of my generation are not being raised like this. They're being raised in gated communities or in cities. And they don't know what the industry has to offer. They don't know anything but the stigma that is out there. And these are the obstacles we're going to have to overcome to bring more youth into the industry. A survey of 11,171 people was taken. As a part of the survey, they were asked how old they were. As you can see in the pie chart, 31% of the people that are in the industry are ages 55 to 64. And after reaching the age of 65, that number drastically drops to 7%. And this means that the majority of the people in the industry are at most 10 years away from retiring. That poses a problem because the number of people coming into the industry at 18 to 24 is only at 8%. So when there's a possibility of 10 to 20% of people retiring from the industry, there runs the risk of not being enough youth to support the horse industry. The youth need support from the industry. The stigma that there isn't any money in horses needs to change. The horse industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So why are youth constantly being told that they can never make a living in the horse industry? Only 25% of individuals in the industry make less than $50,000 a year. Secondly, there needs to be more education about the horse industry. Individuals need to understand that there are careers in the industry that aren't directly related to breaking and training. Third is opportunity. Youth need to be able to see the industry through a clear lens. Youth need to be able to see the industry the way that they want to see it. They need to get hands-on experience with horses. And they need to understand that there's more than just trail riding. Lastly, youth need to learn a skill set that deals with the industry. I know from my own experience that there are a lot of trainers in local areas that would be willing to work with youth and teach them a skill set. They can teach youth not techniques to work with horses, but they can also teach youth how to market and handle ourselves in a positive way and gain a clientele basis. Without such a negative stigma, more education, and opportunity, and learning a skill set, there isn't any reason why youth couldn't be more successful in entering our horse industry. Today I challenge you to think of the positive things that the U.S. horse industry has done for you. And not just you, but the whole population of the United States. Creating jobs and revenue, our country can't stand to have a weak horse industry, or lose it completely. Horses offer so much more than recreational use. They can bring families together, joy to the suffering, and therapy to those in need. But without generating interest among the youth, the horse industry could suffer greatly, or even fall apart. People in the industry, we can't let this happen. We need to let other people know what horses have to offer, and it's our turn to give back to the horse industry and our youth. And these are some of my sources that I use to get my numbers, and I also a big thanks to people that have a negative opinion of the horse industry, because I had to kind of ask around and get what they thought of us horse girls. So, is there any questions? Yes.
When it comes to engaging youth in horses, when we're competing with a million other activities that kids are doing, do you think that social media is going to play a large role in reaching out to kids and getting them involved and thinking critically about horses and agriculture as a career?
Yes. The question is, would social media play a large part in getting horses to want to be more involved in the horse industry? And I think it does. I think it comes down to, right now, the other agricultural commodities, like the Pork Association and the Beef Association and the Soybean Council, they all have ads that are on TV, and they play continuously, depending on what TV station you're watching. And they're engaging youth, and they're saying, okay, you can have a role in feeding everyone's families, but you have to think about how you're going to do it. And it's the same thing with horses, and it aggravates me when people think that horses are just recreation, because there are things like hippotherapy, and they go into horses that if we could start maybe a social media trend and let people see that there's a lot more to the industry than being a crash dummy. Somebody that just gets on horses and breaks them out. Yes?
I think it's a very interesting topic, and I liked how it's kind of the evolution of the horse and the evolution of society. As we've changed, our uses of horses changed from food to recreation, and our thoughts on it. So what do you see as your future role in the horse industry? Do you plan on partaking in the horse industry?
Yes, I do. And the great thing about the horse industry is that it's so diverse. A lot of times if you're going into agriculture, I'm very involved in FFA also, and going into FFA, a lot of what you're doing is limited. I mean, if you're going to live on a beef farm, you don't have a whole lot of options. You're going to raise beef, and you're going to produce meat. Going into the horse industry, you can help kids that are struggling, at risk of being in trouble, and give them something positive to do with their time and a sense of accomplishment. Or you could work with people that are handicapped and need that help. And it's my goal to join the horse industry and overcome some of these negative stigmas. And I would like to work with hippotherapy and people that are mentally or physically handicapped.
So if you talk about youth entering this industry, how do youth overcome the expense associated with this industry? Or is it just that you're thinking that they're going to come in on some of the peripheral related areas?
The question is, how will youth overcome the finances of joining the industry? And I watched a video from My Horse University, and it was kind of funny the way the man worded it. He said you have to ride someone's coattails as an inexperienced youth to get into the industry. And once you follow a trainer for a certain amount of time, then most likely you'll establish your name in the industry if what you're doing is positive. So one way to enter the industry would be to ride on someone else's coattails. Another thing is right now, being a senior in high school, I am looking at different colleges that have equine-related majors or minors and going into that. And I've noticed one thing is that a lot of colleges have taken an equine major and turned it into a minor because of these stigmas. And a lot of youth are scared because, you're already getting out of high school, so why pick a career you may never make money in? So it starts with education and letting people know what there is.